I'm Sergeant Jermaine Gregory, a name engraved in the annals of clandestine warfare, and I'm in command of an elite mercenary team headed to Peru's deepest, darkest recesses. In this black abyss, Specialist Jason Roberta, my unshakable companion, and I stand as mute sentinels, bonded by a purpose so enshrouded in secret that even the murmurs dare not escape its boundaries. Our enigmatic contractor remains a mystery, clothed in classified darkness, and our goal, while horrifying, is mercilessly clear. We are here to combat an insidious, unknown menace and get a specimen. The remaining mission goals are hidden behind an unbreakable wall of secrecy, casting a terrible mist over the unknown. Handpicked for this mission, along with Specialist Roberta and I, are Corporal Scotchy Phillips, Specialist Randy Burnshead, Private Sabonis Jacks, and Private Cameron Araceli. As our names reverberate in the depths, a never-ending symphony of terror. The very mention of our objective sends shivers down my spine, as if the air itself is charged with malignant energy. We stand on the edge of the unknown, our determination unwavering, but our emotions heavy with the unsaid fear that surrounds our covert mission. Each step we take into the Peruvian bush is a tumble into a frightening abyss, our lives entwined with secrets that only the world's deepest recesses can reveal. The tragic story of the Haikito tribe, inscribed in the grips of terror, is a nightmare that refuses to erase. Team Alpha Bravo, a covert mercenary unit, is thrust into the terrible depths of an enigmatic town. This evil journey is accompanied by 6 operatives selected by a secretive organization that deals in the deadliest of dangers. Our mission: face the horrible atrocities that have gripped the forlorn community of San Antonio like a vice. Every night in this lonely location, a spiral into madness unfolds. The Los Falcaras, 2-meter-tall monstrosities of sheer malevolence, cast menacing shadows over the helpless Haikito tribe. Their eyes, as bright as malicious stars, have given them the horrible moniker, the Face Peelers, a moniker that strikes fear deep into the indigenous population huddled in the bleak stretch of Alto Nanay, far from Lima. My staunch colleagues, Team Alpha Bravo and I, have created a kinship in the furnace of shared atrocities and wordless anguish. Behind our tough exteriors, we cover our shivering apprehensions, well knowing that the future of the Haikito tribe rests heavily upon our shoulders and those of the courageous 6 individuals who join us into these strange depths. In the pitch blackness of San Antonio, optimism is merely a flicker. As that tiny flicker, Specialist Jason Roberta and our brave crew emerge. Our footsteps, echoing like haunting whispers, give a requiem for the innumerable souls who have endured in silence. Emotions are running high as the locals beg us, their saviors, to relieve their agony. The seriousness of our mission presses down upon us, and the air is laden with palpable dread as we prepare to meet the alien malevolence. As the night becomes darker, the anxiety rises like a foreboding mist, each breath a harsh reminder of the horrors hiding in the shadows. Villagers crowd behind us, their faces scarred by restless nights, their unshakable confidence in our talents, their only refuge. Luminous neon-colored eyeballs flicker on the outskirts of our vision, foreshadowing the approaching horror. In that heartbreaking moment, I direct our team to proceed. Each step into the abyss feels like a descent into insanity, a confrontation with the unfathomable that tests not only our physical strength, but also our understanding of reality itself. We move forward, the world collectively holding its breath, anticipating the cataclysmic clash between humanity and the unknown. The peasants' dread is real, and their optimism is our guiding light in the middle of the total darkness. suspense hangs like a guillotine, and the battle against the Los Falcaras is coming, a conflict that will decide the destiny of a hamlet teetering on the edge of extinction.
Good day, Sergeant Gregory. Lieutenant Diza Ortega is my name. I am a member of Peru's National Police, and we have arrived in the cursed village of San Antonio, Peru. Our aim is to solve the troubling riddles surrounding the disappearance of the Haikito tribal people. We've seen the strange occurrence of individuals disappearing and reappearing, yet not quite human. Some of my team members have vanished, only to be discovered with their faces gruesomely removed. Our efforts to assist the locals have failed, and we now confront a nightmare beyond imagination. The townspeople refer to the intruders as Los Falcaras, which translates as face peelers. We need your assistance, Sergeant Gregory, for a horrific evil waits in the shadows and hungers for more.
Lieutenant Ortega, me and my team are here to serve, and we will neutralize whatever threat exists. We shall plunge into the unknown, but our dedication will not waver. My guys and I recognize that the villagers are caught in a never-ending nightmare, their lives dominated by fear and misery. But we are here for their hopes and the sake of a brighter future. The terrible power that has tormented them must be challenged and conquered. The darkness may be impenetrable and the dread may be overwhelming, but we are prepared to confront the unknown. The village's calls for assistance have not gone unanswered, and we have the obligation of providing them with the comfort they deserve. We are resolved to dispel the shadows, uncover the truth, and present the people with the freedom they so badly crave with each step into the riddle that awaits us. The trek will be dangerous, but the glimmer of hope we carry will guide them through the gathering darkness. As the day gave way to darkness, our perilous trip took us deep into the Peruvian forest, where UFO sightings were common law. Screams of desperation rang through the night, creating a dreadful lullaby that froze our very souls. The terrified peasants told stories of missing people who returned, but not as themselves. The frightening Los Falcaras posed as strong opponents, their malevolence engraving nightmares into the locals' memory. They were infamous for their heinous methods, such as burning their victims' faces to ash and leaving just eerie skulls behind. When confronted, these unearthly creatures slid through the darkness on neon boards, disappearing into the inky depths. They carried laser beams capable of disintegrating the people and turning them to nothingness just where they stood. Many survivors sought sanctuary in the forest's merciless embrace, only returning home when safety beckoned. Our hearts were heavy with the knowledge of the looming horrors as I led our brave crew into the brutal wilderness. The stifling quiet was broken only by the whispering breeze, and a sensation of impending dread lingered in the air like a veil. Specialist Roberta, bold and steadfast, seized the helm as we traveled farther into the frightening unknown. An unsettling feeling fell over us the instant our boots hit the forest floor. An unknown presence's piercing gaze penetrated our innermost souls. Each step forward felt like an unstoppable plunge, the dense vegetation surrounding us concealing unspeakable horrors. The old trees spoke things we couldn't fathom, and the shadows appeared to stretch and twist, fooling our senses. The jungle itself seemed to throb with a malignant force, as if it were a living thing plotting against invaders who dared to walk on its holy turf. The haunting howls of invisible animals ringing through the deep woods contributed to the increasing suspense. We followed Specialist Roberta, our breathing shallow and our senses on high alert. The forest floor, filled with fallen leaves and gnarled roots, appeared to be conspiring against us, threatening to reveal our existence with each step. Our feet were deliberate, even timid, as if any sudden movement might awaken the monsters lying in the shadows. The first chilly fingers of anxiety wrapped around my heart as the inky blackness clung to the woods like a menacing apparition. The jungle spoke its secrets, speaking of ancient evils that lurked behind its borders. The fear was suffocating, and the jungle's haunting screams deepened as if in uncanny sync with our approach. At that moment, I realized we weren't alone in this harsh environment. An enigmatic power that defied all logic lurked, monitored, and pursued us. The dread gripped us like a curse, and as Specialist Roberta led the way, each step forward was an ominous stride into the heart of an unfathomable nightmare. We quickly constructed our base camp as the shadows spread their sinister fingers across the bush. An eerie quiet crept on this untamed expanse that formerly resonated with the music of nocturnal wildlife. The animal kingdom's clamor, which resembled a bustling city in the United States, had given way to a disturbing silence. With the chill of the night creeping into our bones, we lit a fire, its sputtering flames a hopeless attempt to resist the approaching darkness. Corporal Phillips stood sentry, his eyes darting around the gloomy perimeter, looking for any sign of activity. When a piercing, blood-curdling scream penetrated the stifling calm, our limited supplies barely satisfied our appetite. A peasant tore through the bush, panic carved into every line of his face, his shouts of anguish echoing through the night. Specialist Roberta led the assault with careful resolve as we jumped into action, propelled by a primordial instinct. The image in front of us was a horrifying scenario. The peasant died on the forest floor, his anguished cries forever hushed. Private Araceli probed for signs of life with quivering hands, but it was pointless. Death had taken another victim. A sinister apparition regarded us with neon-like eyes from atop a towering figure that reached a horrifying 7 feet in height. Corporal Phillips and Specialist Roberta opened fire, releasing a hail of bullets on the horrible monster, and we all gasped. But it faded into the inky blackness in an instant, leaving nothing but an echo of our sadness in its wake. The forest, once full of life and vitality, had devolved into a domain of unfathomable terror, where the line between the living and the other-worldly blurred and our futures dangled by a thread in the grip of a frightening nightmare.